you say grime came from in terms of maybe its influences, or what part of UK it came from?
So I'd say that grime grew out of the East End of London in the early 2000s, and it's sort of developed out of the underground music scenes at the time that were really popular. So drum and bass, garage and dancehall. People obviously, you can still hear it in the grime that's produced now. The backing tracks sound very garagey, it's got a lot of bass to it, and people obviously...
it's snary as well.
Yeah, and then people obviously developed a unique way of rapping over it.
Who would you say were the main sort of innovators of the genre? So like, who is influential from other genres?
Oh, right.
Like maybe garage or...
So yeah, on the garage scene there was sort of EZ. They're all the old boys now. So it was sort of like EZ, DJ Spark, what's he called?
What?
Sticky. There was all the garage DJ. DJ Luck and Neat as well was sort of producing the tracks. And I'd say the most influential grime artists would be Wiley, Kano. I'd say Dizzy Rascal and Lethal Bizzle as well, because I feel like Dizzy Rascal was the first person to sort of take it out of the underground. Like, he was in the charts back in the 2000s.
Yeah.
He, I would say, was the first person to break through the scene and sort of take it to the mainstream. But now, I mean, there's countless. It's moved out of London, and you know, there's grime artists in Manchester, Birmingham, and they've all got the same sound. Obviously, a different accent, but it's the same sort of sound, and it's the same connection that unites everyone.
You said Lethal Bizzle. I think the main song that got recognition was Pow.
Yeah.
But Pow featured various other MCs.
Yeah.
And Lethal Bizzle just did the chorus for it.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the people that I would probably say sold out, because his earlier stuff, you know, these guys have been doing it since they were 16, and now they're obviously in their late 30s, early 40s. Lethal Bizzle's obviously changed a lot, but he's very good at sort of bringing, keeping the group together and uniting people, you know, with his collabs and various songs that he's done.
Would you say grime's influenced other genres at all?
I would say within the UK, yes, because it is a very distinctly UK sound. I would say when you listen, it's a unique way of expressing yourself. And it varies from different rap that say came out of hip hop in America.
Yeah.
Mainly down to the accent, but also in the 8-bar. You know, the things that they talk about in grime are quite English topics. So, you know, it's very social and politically charged music, and the themes are quite specific to London, like city life. So I find that, and the bass in the background, you know, the way it's all produced, it really emphasises what city life is like.
Yeah.
I find that people from other countries don't necessarily understand it. Like when you look at the EDM evolution,
yeah.
Americans have a very different sound. They can't quite get that.
It's the same with dubstep, isn't it?
Yeah, they can't quite get that British sound.
Because I think, this isn't my interview, grime, it took a lot of influence from Jamaican music.
Yeah.
Like dancehall.
Yeah.
That's why there's a lot of bass in it and stuff. Same with dubstep. But dubstep's obviously hit the mainstream and it's become a little bit different.
It's not dubstep that I listened to when I was like 15, 16. It's changed a lot. Like I said as well, like the Americans, they can't grasp drum and bass.
They're all about the selling, that's what I'd say.
Yeah. You know, people, if you listen to the charts now, you hear like someone like Chris Brown has tried to incorporate what you'd call dance into his songs, but it's like that Ibiza club sound.
It's a bit cringy.
It's not that dirty British
sub-low.
Yeah. Sub-low, it's not, and I think that's very unique to Britain. But actually saying that, you can see that it's starting to have an influence on international artists. Obviously, Skepta, Wiley, and JME made Boy Better Know
BBK,
brand, which is pretty much a brand now. You know, they've got clothing lines, they've got their own record labels.
Yeah. That's been going on for quite a while now, I think.
Yeah, but people, the international artists, so Drake is the main one.
Yeah, just been signed,
Skepta has been branching out and making connections in, mainly I'd say America.
Yeah.
And Drake has become very into, who's obviously like world-renowned artist.
Yeah.
Has become like so fascinated with that sound and their crew. He really wants to get involved. But obviously he's got a lot to learn because he doesn't really.
He's a Canadian.
He's Canadian.
And his sound's a bit too smooth.
Yeah.
The Grime's obviously very grubby.
Yeah. And he's got a lot to learn, but I feel like Skepta's very clever in the fact that he's reaching out. He's taking opportunities of these people's fame to push his own name and his own sounds up the chain into the mainstream, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we've gone on this already, but I feel that Grime has drove away from, from its true roots, because it's become mainstream. Is this true?
Well, yeah, it has, because before it was sort of like an underground sound that was so specific and so important to young people that it actually gave birth to a subculture, something that young people could relate to. And it obviously, because of the themes discussed within the songs and the lifestyle that they portray, it's very exclusive to youth. And it therefore excludes older people, so they sort of see it as, they don't appreciate it as a form of art.
That's why a lot of what was it? Someone like David Blunkett was complaining a lot about grime music.
Yeah, but he can't relate in any way because it's a completely different upbringing to what he has, so he can't relate. But I feel like within the last 5 or 6 years, it's becoming more widely acceptable as an art and form of music because, they've been backed big time by, these artists have been backed big time by, like in the past it used to be pirate radio, but now Kiss FM and BBC Radio 1 Extra is a big one for promoting.
Grime's on Rinse as well, isn't it?
Rinse as well, yeah, sorry, that started as an underground.
That was pirate once, wasn't it? And then it got a licence.
And it's now got a licence. So this is where they all started, really, and that's the way. They also had this TV TV station called Channel U.
Yeah.
Where you could...
And Channel AKA as well.
Channel AKA, yeah, where you could upload you can send in your music videos and they'd play them. So that was a brilliant platform for people involved in the scene. But now it's a lot better for people because they have things like YouTube. Anyone can make a video and upload it. SBTV brings all the artists together and gives them a platform to perform their songs. And people, it's more widely acceptable now as an art. Someone like Stormzy was invited on Jules Holland.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He's done things with Jules Holland, which had some of the most acceptable and artists out there, and it's yet to be brought into, say something like the Brit Awards, but that's whole another story.
I think he did win a Brit Award, didn't he?
There's not.
Oh my god, I'm mental. I think this is some sort of urban.
The British music scene is still quite restrictive in some ways, and for example, like in something like the Brit Awards, they need to start making their own category for grime. I honestly believe. There's so many good artists out there that are producing music but not getting the recognition for it.
Would you say that the recent inundation of grime is a good or bad thing for youth culture here in the UK or England? I mean, I'm not sure.
I'd say in England, yeah, I think it's a really good thing because it gives the youth of today who may not see other prospects for themselves. It gives them an outlet to express, concerns and struggles of life, to be honest, which we all face, and it sort of unites the youth in feeling like they're not alone, and it gives them, like a prospect in life and ambition to make music. But I also do see the side where some people, like a more conservative view, that some of the themes discussed in songs promote, gang culture and violence and drug culture. But I mean, that's part of life, and it is underground issues, but it's not. It affects everyone, and it should be expressed. If it's not going to be in the news, then it needs to be discussed in another way, which I think Grime does quite well.
Yeah, but regards to the violence, do you think that maybe some youths in like living in inner city, suburban areas or rough areas don't really have much guidance from their parents, so they listen to grime music or any sort of violent music, and then maybe they get too influenced by it and then go out and do stuff?
No, I wouldn't. I would disagree. I wouldn't say
Maybe it's a
influences
generalisation.
them. It is, but I wouldn't say it influences them. I think if anything, it is a comfort for them. If you don't have guidance, it's a comfort to know that people understand what you're going through and have possibly been in similar situations that you've put yourself in. And I think it's good for people, especially young people, to be able to relate to something.
Where do you think grime came from?
Yes, well, the grime came from, it was back in the day, had all different area codes, and for people, like especially like young youth, like black young youth, couldn't get into the clubs that we wanted to get in, like they wanted to get into. They started like raves and stuff, and they'd just have an MC spitting over like drum and bass and stuff. Yeah. And then it just spiraled out from there. Like crews and stuff, and then they started making more and more music. Rapping at 140 BPM, and then went from there, didn't it?
Exactly. So it's all like jungle, garage, into grime. Grime was like 2002 sort of time. Can you think of any sort of innovators, people who started grime music?
Wiley. Yeah, Wiley, Gets,
Gets and P Money are, I'd say they were a little later.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Dizzy's quite early, but Dizzy was on beats first. Dizzy made beats before he started rapping.
Produced Boy in the Corner.
Yeah, he made a lot of the early beats, but he didn't rap from early. Lethal Bizzle was really early.
Yeah.
Lethal B was
any
really
any kind of BBK.
BBK's a little later.
Like Pay As You Go Cartel, that's like the very, very early stuff. Then basically grime came out of garage becoming more mainstream. And then people wanted sort of like a darker sound. So yeah, basically dubstep and grime came out of garage. Would you say grime's influenced other genres at all?
It's definitely starting to,
I think so. Maybe
Lately.
you should get people like Red 32 that are now doing songs with people like Shaka, who are very like mainstream, like more singing, and like more grime artists and making it into charts and all that. So you get like other genres that are influenced by rappers and grime artists.
especially fashion.
Yeah,
Fashion really influences.
Urban fashion as well. Personally, I feel grime sort of gone away from its true roots recently because it's become mainstream. I mean, obviously Skepta's broke like America almost, sort of. I mean, he's getting quite popular in New York.
Yeah, he was quite popular. Crazy show. Crazy show that.
Obviously you have Drake signing to BBK. Would you say it's true that grime's sort of not like it used to be?
I think you just got to search for it.
Yeah, I think you've got to look for them.
That's what I think that too.
Underground rappers rather than them people like Skepta and that who have
Stormzy.
like
Chip and
major,
stuff. Especially we're forgetting Chip.
Yeah, Chipmunkey's so mainstream now. In my opinion.
I'm not a fan of him.
Where if you go to more like underground rappers, people like Devin Man, like anyone
It's still
underground.
kind of like it is. It's just on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
So it's more profitable.
There's so much more, like, so many more people wanting to listen to it now, and like, you've got so many styles as well.
I think grime's almost making there's a lot of pirate radio, like Radar Radio and Deja Vu. They do a lot of sets with like different grime crews that sort of come from little bits of London. You've got Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham is really big. Yeah,
Invasion a lot.
I think a lot of more recent grime, or like sort of more like just like grime, like proper heavy grime, is coming from like north now.
Yeah, more
people
like
Bugsy Malone, Devil Man,
The Invasion, like JK, people like that.
Any people that are coming from up north seem to make more like
More heavy, more violent.
It's because London's not like it used to be. London's not as rough as it was. Birmingham, Manchester, whatever, they're still pretty rough.
Yeah, they It's all about area codes from when they're up there.
Dunchester, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dunchester, yeah.
Would you say that the recent inundation of grime is a good or bad thing for youth culture? So that just how popular it's become within the last 5 years.
It's good
or
for
so.
England, yeah. 'Cause like, for example, like going out especially in London now, has changed so much. Like so much. Like, it's just the scene's so big and it's so live, and it's like bringing in so many people. Like, everyone wants to come party in London now.
Yeah.
Like even you look at what's Pro Era interview, which are like Joey Badass and American rappers,
Yeah.
and then all his mates, like the one place they were like, we're all coming when he goes on tour is London. One place they all want to come.
I think ASAP Rocky like
He lived
come.
here for 9 months.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he lived here for all a year.
Yeah.
I saw that video of him getting in a
He
fight
went
with
to
someone.
what's it called, the Red Bull recording studio, didn't he?
Yeah, he loves all this.
Loads of them come over here.
Yeah,
Like,
they
Future,
perform as well, didn't they?
Future
ASAP
recorded his
Oh,
last
yeah.
album at Abbey Road.
Did
That
they?
is where the Beatles
Didn't
made
know
it.
that. What
Yeah.
you mean? Tyler the Creator. And that.
No, yeah, Future made his last album. That was crazy. And Waka Flocka came over here. They all come over here now. It's because the scene's so big. It's so live.
Do you know a guy called Danny Brown?
Yeah.
He did a track with a producer called Darky Freaker called Cherry Aid. And that's a grime. He's a grime producer. He produced Next Hype by Temper T.
Right, yeah.
It's a beast of a song.
I quite like how a lot of American rappers are joining into like, or kind of getting into the grime. Like for instance, like when Section Boys had that live performance.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
see it.
That's
And
when
then-
Drake signed the BBK.
Yeah, and then randomly Drake turns out of nowhere.
I mean, like just yesterday, Section Boys. I think Section Boys brilliant. Like they're like old school grime, like of a group, and like. But they've released a song with DJ Carnage, who's an American DJ, trap DJ, yesterday.
There's a Carnage and Grime, a DJ Carnage and Grime as well.
Yeah.
Goldie.
And it was like Rick Ross with Correct and Kindness.
Like
Like,
YG new song.
Yeah.
Correct and Kindness.
It's just, I think it's expanding.
There's It Ain't Safe by Skepta. Isn't
Yeah,
that this guy
Young
called
Lord.
Young
Lord. Yeah, from ASAP
that's
Mob.
the one.
He's from ASAP Mob.
Yeah, that was good. That was
I like it. No, it's like finally getting respected. Like English rap, not a. It's like Slick Rick and stuff. He was English, but
Yeah.
he was,
And
he was American.
MF Doom as well.
Yeah, but they rap American. They even like they rap like American.
Slick Rick did Children's Story, didn't
Yeah,
he?
but now it's like yeah,
and
it's
now that
British.
tang of Britain to get on me.
Yeah.
Well, Slick Rick did, but he still just rapped over American beats. Like was super
The thing is,
American.
he moved from London at a very young age.
Yeah.
He probably just got the American accent.
Yeah, but no, it's like being respected for like British music, British
I
rap.
think, like, especially American people are beginning to appreciate any kind of European rappers. Like, they realise that how much more lyrical they are than
People are not just hearing them just.
it's not just like all talking about drugs and women and money. It's actually,
Grime used to be that though.
yeah, I know, but even then, it's still so much more lyrical than sort of like your average hip hop artist. Like, obviously, you get the people like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, stuff like that. You still like talk about
Lyricists.
actual stories
Yeah.
and. But
Yeah,
I feel like Grime is finally getting there.
Yeah, well, it's worldwide. Like you see people from Australia over in Australia.
Well, but that was heavier. Grime's heavier in Australia.
There's actually, isn't there grime in like
There's Jamaican grime,
in like
which is
yeah,
jokes.
well,